The sun hadn't fully risen, but the village of Arimo was already alive. Roosters crowed in ragged competition from 3 directions, their shrill cries blending with the clanking of pots and the faint giggles of children dragging jerrycans to fetch water. In the midst of this symphony of life, Folasade Ajayi stood barefoot in the red soil outside her home, clutching a bundle of cassava leaves in one hand and a bright yellow plastic bowl in the other. "Dudu," she called. There was no response. "Dudu," as she tried again, more sing-song this time. Suddenly, a blur of brown and black came charging from behind the banana tree, knocking the bowl clean out of her hands. On, she shouted, laughing despite herself. "You this goat. One day I'll turn you to pepper soup." Dudu bleated indignantly, as if understanding the threat and daring her to try. The goat had a personality of his own, proud, loud, and full of mischief. He was no ordinary village goat. Fola had raised him from a baby, bottle-fed him with powdered milk when his mother died, and once spent an entire night awake, praying when he caught a fever. To everyone else, Dudu was livestock. To Fola, he was family. She scratched behind his ears, and Dudu rubbed his head against her wrapper affectionately. Her wrapper was faded now, old green and orange Ankara she had inherited from her late mother. But she wore it with pride. "I get small Gary for you," and she whispered. "But you must promise to behave today." Dudu blinked lazily, clearly unbothered. They made a strange pair, the sharp-eyed, barefooted 19-year-old girl with a slight limp from a childhood accident, and the goat with a wonky horn and too much personality. Yet, in their quiet little corner of Arimo, they were known and adored. Children often called out, Saad and her stubborn brother, when they passed by. Inside their cement block house with rusted zinc roofing, Fola's father, Baba Tay, coughed again, that deep, hollow cough that made the walls tremble. She rushed in. "Baba, you're awake," she said gently, placing a cool rag on his forehead. He looked up at her with tired eyes. His skin, once dark and smooth like roasted groundnut, had turned ashy and thin. His collarbones jutted out like sharp hills under his worn undershirt. "My nurse of life," he whispered with a weak smile. "Did you feed that your goat before me?" "Don't start," she replied, rolling her eyes, though her voice held nothing but love. "I saw the way you were cuddling him yesterday," he teased. "You don't cuddle me like that, oh. If you grow a tail and start eating yam peels, I might." He laughed, but the laughter quickly turned into a wheezing cough. Fola's heart sank. "Baba," she said softly, helping him sit up, "I think we need to go to the hospital." "I'm fine," he muttered. "It's just old age. You said that last week. And the week before. Now your stool is black and you've not eaten in 2 days." He sighed. "Where will we get money, Saad?" Fola hesitated. She had asked herself that very question 10 times in the last hour. But she was determined. "I'll find it. You just get ready." He smiled sadly, knowing better than to argue. By mid-morning, she had closed her tiny palm oil stall and borrowed a wooden wheelbarrow from a neighbor. With the help of Mama Cootie, their loud-mouthed but kind-hearted neighbor, she lifted Baba into the wheelbarrow, placed an old mat behind his back for support, and tied Dudu to the front. "Where Una Day carry the goat go?" someone asked, laughing. Emotional support animal, Fola snapped playfully, brushing dust off Baba's feet. They made their way through the red dust paths to the main road, where Okada sped by with reckless abandon. Mama Cootie flagged one down. "Government Hospital, Orita." "No emergency," she told the rider. As Fola helped Baba onto the bike, she turned to Dudu. "Wait for me," she said, half joking. But Dudu just blinked at her unbothered. The government hospital in Orita had seen better days. Its paint peeled like roasted plantain skin, and the walls smelled faintly of bleach, sweat, and waiting. By the time they arrived, the outpatient wing was full. Baba groaned as Fola helped him down from the Okada. "Please help us. It's urgent," she pleaded with the security man at the gate. The man looked at them lazily. "Q day. He hasn't eaten in days. He can't breathe well." "Go and see Nurse Bolo inside," he said, waving them through with a grunt. Inside, chaos reigned. Nurses shuffled about with files. A man was shouting at the cashier. A baby was wailing. Fola stood there, unsure what to do, holding her father's arm as he nearly collapsed beside her. Then she saw her, a tall, dark-skinned woman in blue scrubs, wearing tired eyes and soft authority. "Nurse, please help me," Fola called. The woman turned. "Yes, my father, he's not breathing well. He's been sick for months. Please." The nurse scanned the old man's face and gently nodded. "Come with me." Her name was Nurse Amaka, and from the moment Fola saw her, she felt both fear and relief. In the examination room, Nurse Amaka and a young doctor performed tests. Fola stood at the corner, wringing her hands, barely breathing. An hour later, Nurse Amaka returned. "He's stable now. We gave him oxygen and fluids," she said. "Thank you." "Thank you so much," Fola breathed. Amaka hesitated, then looked at her seriously. "But there's something else. We did a quick ultrasound and blood scan. Your father has a mass in his abdomen. A tumor. We suspect it's pressing against his liver and causing internal bleeding." Fola's knees buckled. "A tumor?" "Yes," Amaka said, gently holding her by the shoulder. "If we operate quickly, we might save him. But we must move fast." Fola nodded slowly, mind racing. "Okay, let's do it. Please." "There's a cost," Amaka added. "The surgery, anesthetics, post-op care. You'll need to pay 400,000 Nigerian nairas as deposit." The room froze. Fola blinked. "For what?" 400,000, Amaka repeated. "We can't proceed without a deposit. If you speak with the admin—" "I don't have that kind of money," Fola whispered. Amaka exhaled deeply. "We understand. There may be NGO programs, or you can request an emergency appeal. But it takes time. And time is what your father doesn't have." Fola stepped out into the sunlight like a sleepwalker. Her eyes were dry, but burning. She sat beneath a mango tree near the back fence of the hospital, and only when Dudu nudged her arm did she realize she was shaking. "I don't know what to do," she said to no one. Dudu nibbled on her scarf. She took a shaky breath and untied his rope. The goat trotted in a circle, tail flicking. She looked up at the orange sky as the sun started to dip. "God," she whispered. "If you're listening, please, help me save him. I'll give up anything. Just not Dudu. Please. Not him too." The first thing Fola noticed that morning wasn't the crowing roosters or the cries of the morning hawkers shouting, "Pap, hot pap, oh." It was the silence. Not the peaceful kind. The eerie kind. The kind that told her something was wrong. She shot up from where she'd been curled beneath the mango tree near the hospital fence, her wrapper half tangled around her feet, her back stiff from sleeping on concrete. The cool early morning breeze brushed her cheeks as she blinked against the soft orange light of sunrise. Then she realized what was missing. Dudu. Her hand reached out for the familiar tug of the rope she had tied to her wrist. Nothing. Her chest tightened. She turned sharply. The frayed rope was there, but the goat was gone. Gone. She stood up so fast she stumbled. "Dudu," she called, her voice cracking. Nothing. She ran to the far end of the yard, near the nurse's quarters, calling louder now. Dudu. Still nothing. Panic clawed at her throat. She jogged around the building, checked behind the storeroom, near the water tank, beside the old generator. No hoof prints. No rope. No sign of the one thing she could never afford to lose. Her breathing grew shallow. No. No. This wasn't happening. Her mind raced. Could someone have untied him? Why would anyone take a goat from a hospital yard? Maybe he wandered off. But Dudu had never strayed far from her, never. He always waited, especially when she tied him. She gripped her wrapper tightly, trying to still her thoughts. Think, Fola. Think. Then, the smell hit her. A rich, spicy scent that floated gently through the air. The kind of scent that always made stomachs growl. That unmistakable aroma of pepper soup and goat meat. She followed the smell like a zombie. It led her to the hospital kitchen, a small open structure at the rear of the compound. It was barely more than 3 walls, a makeshift tin roof, and 2 large pots simmering on wood fires. A thin trail of smoke curled into the sky like a warning. Around the fire, two kitchen staff were laughing as they stirred. Fola stepped closer, her throat dry. "Morning." "Oh," one woman greeted. But Fola didn't reply. Her eyes locked on the large blackened pot, steam rising from its edges. Floating inside, chunks of goat meat, glistening with fat and pepper seeds. And there, behind the fire, a hide, brown and black, with a small white spot near the neck. She froze. The world tilted. It was Dudu. Her legs moved before her brain caught up. She rushed forward, pushing past the cooks. "Who brought this meat?" she demanded. The younger of the two looked confused. On. "Now one nurse say make we cook am. Say, ego day serve patients today." "Which nurse?" "Shidon Comet." "Na the tall one. Nurse Amaka." Fola's blood ran cold. She turned, and right there, walking toward the kitchen with a small flask in hand, was Nurse Amaka herself. Her steps were calm, unaware of the storm about to hit her. Fola didn't hesitate. She marched toward the nurse, eyes wild. "Where is my goat?" Amaka blinked. "What?" "My goat." "Did it? You took him." "Fola, calm down. What are you talking of? You cooked my goat for soup?" "What?" Fola didn't wait. Her right hand flew through the air and connected with Amaka's cheek with a loud ph. The entire kitchen went silent. Even the smoke seemed to freeze midair. Amaka's flask dropped to the ground, clattering loudly. Fola's voice shook with rage and pain. "How could you? You knew what that goat meant to me. You think I'm just some poor girl who can't do anything? I didn't touch your goat." Amaka said, eyes wide, her cheek reddening. "You're a liar, a thief, a heartless woman." A crowd was gathering now. A young male orderly had started recording on his phone. "Nawao," someone muttered. "She slap em well. Na the same girl way come with goat yesterday?" Fola was heaving, tears streaming down her face. "You took the only thing I had left. I begged you to help me save my father, and instead, you slaughtered my goat." "I didn't. Save your lies." Suddenly, two security guards arrived. "Oya, madam, come with us," one said. "No," Fola shouted. "You should be arresting her. She's the criminal." "Let's go," the other one said firmly, pulling her away. Amaka stood there, still stunned, her palm on her cheek. They dragged Fola out of the kitchen area and to a bench near the administrative wing. One of the guards whispered, "Nawa, oh, how go cause this kind walla?" But Fola wasn't listening. Her eyes were fixed on nothing. Her fists trembled in her lap. Her heart was pounding. That goat had been with her through everything. Dudu had been the last birthday gift her mother gave her before dying during childbirth complications. She and Baba had raised him like a child. In the darkest nights, when Baba had coughing fits or when she had no food, Dudu's warm body beside her brought comfort. And now he was in someone's pot. A pot Amaka had stirred. She felt sick. She wiped her tears and stood. "I want to see my father," she told the receptionist. "I'm sorry, miss," the woman replied. "There's a disciplinary file being opened. You're temporarily suspended from visitation." "What?" "You assaulted a medical staff." She. Fola stammered, but the woman had already turned away. Hours passed. Fola sat alone outside the hospital gate, staring at the dust. Dudu was gone. Her father was inside, still fighting for his life. And she had become that girl, the one who slapped a nurse over goat meat. She overheard a group of schoolboys passing by. "Did you see the video?" one asked. She slapped her like, wham. "Over one goat, oh," the other laughed. Fola pulled her scarf over her head and looked away. The sun beat down on her. She was hot, hungry, humiliated, but worst of all, hopeless. For the first time in a long time, she whispered a question she had buried deep for years. "God, do you still see me?" That night, as the moon rose, Fola slept again under the mango tree, this time on the other side of the hospital fence. Alone. She dreamed of Dudu. In the dream, he walked into the kitchen alive, looked at the pot, and turned back to her. He didn't bleat. He just stared at her, eyes sad. Then, slowly, he disappeared into the smoke. The next morning, the sky over Orita was heavy with the threat of rain. Clouds rolled lazily over the hospital buildings like they were in no hurry to do anything except press the weight of the world on a girl sitting on a wooden bench just outside the back fence. That girl was Folasade Ajayi, barefoot, dusty, tired, and humiliated. She hadn't eaten. She hadn't gone home. She hadn't spoken to anyone since the incident the day before. She just sat there, legs folded to her chest, head pressed against her knees, listening. She could hear the soft hum of nurses' voices from inside the compound, the clanging of pots, the occasional groan of a patient, and the voice in her own head asking the same thing over and over again. What have I done? When the slap landed on Nurse Amaka's cheek yesterday, Fola had felt a flicker of satisfaction, short-lived and bitter. But since then, nothing had felt right, not even the air around her. What made it worse? She still hadn't seen her father. She didn't even know if he'd made it through the night. The receptionist had been cold, unmoving. "You can't visit until we conclude internal investigation," the woman had said. The two guards hadn't been any better. "Madam, we understand say you vex, but you no suppose slap person like that. No offense." "Offense," she had screamed. "They killed my goat." Now, hours later, her anger had cooled, leaving only confusion, shame, and something new, fear. Just after noon, as she sat beneath the mango tree, a group of young people walked past. 2 girls, 3 boys. One of them had his phone out, laughing. Fola kept her head low until she heard one of them say, "E be like say the girl even still day here." The hairs on her neck stood up. "Are you sure that's her?" one girl asked. "Check him now, look." He turned the phone so his friends could see. "Rewind it, see the slap." Wah! Then she heard the audio. "You cooked my baby. You cooked it." Her own voice. The others burst out laughing. "Wenby Didu," someone giggled. "That name alone funny." Another one chimed in. "Nah the goat name nah. She slap over goat meat." Fola's ears rang. Her chest burned with shame. They were talking about her. The video had gone viral. When she finally gathered the courage to ask one of the passing nurses if her father was okay, the woman merely gave a tight smile. "He's still in recovery. The surgery happened early this morning." Fola blinked. "Surgery? But I didn't pay." "How?" "I don't know the details," the nurse said, and walked away. Fola stood frozen for several seconds, trying to make sense of what she had just heard. She hadn't paid, yet her father had been taken to surgery? Her eyes darted toward the hospital building. How is that possible? That evening, while sitting near the back fence again, a young cleaner approached quietly. He looked around, then leaned against the wall beside her. "You still day vex?" he asked. Fola didn't answer. "You never see your papa since?" he asked again. She shook her head. "Nawa." Silence fell between them. Then he lowered his voice. "You think say dem really cook your goat?" Fola looked at him. He smirked. "No be did a meat day that soup." "Oh." Her heart skipped. "What do you mean?" "I day around when the meat entered the kitchen yesterday. No be nurse Amaka kill that goat. The meat come from outside. I even see inside black nylon." Fola stared, disbelieving. "I know day lie. I day sweep near the back when dem deliver am. No nurse just say make dem use am for patient food. Say, EB donation." Her eyes widened. "So, Dudu might still be alive." The cleaner shrugged. "You fit go check local butcher, maybe go sabi who bring meat. But no be your goat, I swear." Fola's world tilted. She stood up slowly. "Which butcher?" "Old man near Iana Street. Short, day wear black cap always." Before he could say more, Fola was already walking. The butcher's stall was just a 15-minute walk away. She didn't stop to think or ask questions. Her legs carried her like they had minds of their own. She arrived breathless, heart-thudding. The man behind the counter looked up from his chopping block, wiping sweat off his brow. "Yes," he asked. I need to know," Fola began. Did someone bring a brown and black goat to you yesterday morning? He raised an eyebrow. Which kind color be that? Small white patch near the neck. Very friendly. Not aggressive. He squinted, then shook his head. I no kill that kind goat yesterday. The one-way nurse woman collect yesterday come from Abiel side. Nah my boy go bring, Fola exhaled in disbelief. He hadn't slaughtered Dudu. Then who did? The butcher paused. You day talk about the goat way day always follow one small girl for town? Yes, she said. Edon lost, he asked. She nodded, eyes stinging. He pointed toward the back of the stall. I see one like that 2 hours ago near the market garbage pile. You get rope for neck. Try there. Fola didn't wait. She ran, not walked, to the garbage heap beside the open market. Her eyes scanned the chaotic scene. Flies, scraps of food, broken cartons, stray chickens. And then movement. Behind an old kiosk. A brown and black figure. Small white patch on the neck. Dudu, she whispered. The goat looked up. It was him. He blinked at her like nothing had happened. Dudu, she screamed and ran forward. He took 2 steps back, then stopped. She threw her arms around him, crying, laughing, babbling. You're alive. You stubborn, foolish, precious animal. You're alive. A small group of people gathered, watching her cradle the goat like a child. A few smiled. One woman whispered, "Not true love be that." She returned to the hospital compound later that night, Dudu in tow, both of them dusty and exhausted. She was stopped at the gate again. But this time, she didn't argue. She just sat and waited. At 7:52 p.m., a junior nurse she hadn't seen before walked out with a brown envelope. She handed it to Fola and said simply, "From Nurse Amaka. She say make I give you. No be everything be like Isim." The nurse walked away before Fola could ask questions. Fola opened the envelope with trembling fingers. Inside were a hospital receipt stamped with a full cost of her father's surgery, 450,000 Nigerian nairas. Paid in cash. A pawnshop ticket with a list of items sold. Gold earrings. Necklace. Wristwatch. Valued at 280,000 Nigerian nairas. A short handwritten note. Fola said, "I didn't take your goat. I wouldn't. I only tried to help. You reminded me of myself young, desperate, scared. When I was your age, I lost my mother because no one could pay in time. I couldn't watch that happen to you. Sometimes, we do what we can, even when it costs us everything. You don't owe me anything. Just take care of him. And take care of your father." Amaka, asterisk. Fola sat still for what felt like hours. She didn't speak, didn't cry, just stared at the note. Then slowly she reached out and pulled Duda close. He nuzzled into her side. She closed her eyes, pressing the letter to her chest. She had been wrong, terribly wrong. The woman she'd slapped had saved her father's life. The end. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share for more interesting stories.